Welcome, everyone. This is Kit Catastrophe here for the first ever live stream I'm having on this channel, here with two of my good friends, one of whom is currently running late and will be here momentarily. First, I'd like to introduce the undisputed GOAT of Transformers reviewing, Runestone.
Howdy, people. How you all doing?
So, while we wait for our third compatriot, who appears to be joining right now, let's just talk about the most recent things we've bought. I guess I'll go first. My most recent Transformers purchase has to be Toxitron Sideswipe, the Capri Sun Pacific Cooler version, the yellow one. I must say, I think I am starting to get diminishing returns regarding this mold. I just don't quite enjoy it as much as the previous ones. And
the sideswipe mold.
Yeah, the sideswipe mold. But that might also be because my last exposure to this mold was Shattered Glass Sideswipe, and that's by far the coolest version.
No argument there. No argument there.
So maybe I'm just a little disappointed by this one for doing exactly the same thing as the other ones.
I don't have that G2 sideswipe, but I am with you all the way that the Shattered Glass sideswipe they recently released is the best version of the mold, especially since this one actually came with his minicon Whisper.
Yeah, that was a really great addition. I'm really happy with that figure. Why don't you go next?
So sorry, I just say, and with that release, you know who else will be in the pipeline, won't you?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for that. But before we move on, I'd like to introduce our third host, the undisputed GOAT of Transformers customization, our very own Michelangelo, ID Armed. Welcome to the stage, ID Armed. How are you doing?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm doing good. I'm doing good today. So it's quite frankly a beautiful day outside, and there's no better way to spend it than just talking about robot toys, as always.
That's how I feel every day of my life. So I don't know if you were able to hear us while you were off stage, but we were just talking about our most recent purchases.
Yes, no, I was able to hear it while I was setting everything up before hopping in.
Oh, good.
Well, I mean, if you want to go over me next, my most recent purchase was Legacy Evolution Bombshell.
Ooh, I have been having such trouble finding that figure, or finding really any Evolution figures past its first wave.
I have quite a few of them so far. When I'm going to get around to reviewing them is a whole nother matter entirely.
I felt that.
As for Bombshell specifically, he's all right. He's a nice enough figure. The thing I find with the Insecticons in general, or at least the toys inspired by the G1 Insecticons, is that they're pretty run-of-the-mill. They have the same sort of basic alt mode and transformation you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, because actually my recent purchase was also Bombshell and another figure, and I gotta say it's very much an acquired taste. I think there's a level of nostalgia you gotta have for those specific designs. Out of all G1 toy and Sunbow designs, those ones are really acquired because they're vaguely bugs, not really a kickback. He's very much a grasshopper, but the other two are very much bug-shaped vehicles with wheels and guns and stuff.
Really leaning into the whole Waruder aesthetic.
And I gotta say, those G1 Insecticons I got way back in 2009 from Toys R Us. So that's why every time new G1 Insecticons come around, I end up loving them. And I'll be real, I think it's because these guys are very much just the G1 toys that I am super duper into them. The only thing I really find lacking about Bombshell is I'm not a fan of the paint, or not the paint, the deco per se, because you got all this mismatched black and gray, and it's just, I paint this stuff, so I'm gonna get over it and paint them pretty heavily, honestly. But it's a thing we just kind of have to live with how often these things get retooled, because Bombshell's 50% shrapnel, which is surprising, but in hand it's it doesn't bother me as much, because you see they sculpted the toy stickers and decals for both Shrapnel and Bombshell, and then they just unpainted or left unpainted the ones for the other guy, and it works pretty well.
That sounds like it's going to be a field day for both of you and for Toy Hacks.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have so much fun. I do wish I picked up their kickback set when it was 1 cent. I ended up not doing it, and instead I just painted up my kickback to be more toy accurate on my own, which is like I thought was fun. But wow, I still really wish I picked up that set.
I noticed you mentioned the 2009 reissue set. Speaking of, I do a lot of shopping on Transformerland.com, and I was able to pick up that set. I still have it on hold, but I was able to pick it up for like $50 complete,
Oh,
and it's
that's really
mostly
good.
unstickered too.
I'll say this:
Uh,
seeing how I got such mental whiplash when Kickback and Shrapnel were revealed for the Generation 1 Retro line from Walmart.
yeah.
I paid when I was a little 8-year-old. I mean, not me, my mom. She paid $30 for all three of them, right? She exact like 1-to-1 with their G1 toys with the stickers and everything. And now they're selling each one for $30, and it's like I don't know if I never bought those G1 Insecticons, maybe I could twist my mind to accept buying them, but like for $30 each, no, it's a super hard sell, which sucks because their decos are kind of growing on me a little bit for like the Toon decos, but like otherwise, no, you can't see me. You will never see me buying those for like $30.
Yeah, I specifically bought this set to avoid the new retro release, just because at first I hated the deco, but then it really grew on me, the Toon accurate one, I mean. But that price point, I bought Hound not long ago, and he's great. He's phenomenal toy, love it.
Right.
But 30 like Voyager price for that, it's barely taller than G1 Brawn, you know. And I get it. It's like 15 tons of die cast in his feet alone, but it's still really steep.
No,
So
I can't even chalk it up to price gouging. I'm not sure. It's probably material cost for those compared to like your average
definitely.
Generation figure.
He's
But
heavy.
I don't know. It's just I think people might be getting burnt out on like Hasbro releasing the same handful of G1 molds they still have lying around. Because
Yeah.
like at this point, it does feel pretty like unacceptable. The one exception still feels like Hot Rod because it's like a mythical
Pink.
kind of reissue.
I
It
do
makes me
I
really
do
wonder
see
what
myself
those. Oh, sorry.
I do see myself getting at least the other two Seekers, though.
No, Thundercracker looks fantastic. I really.
Oh, yeah.
But it does make me wonder. We have 4 leaked listings for a 40th retro line. It makes me really wonder where they're going with that because I really hope it's not just more G1 repaints. I hope, good lord, if we see like an Armada reissue on store shelves, I will just swipe it off if it's like in its vintage style packaging and all that. But
Oh, that would
we
be
don't know
amazing.
yet.
So, speaking of the 40th anniversary, Hasbro just this Friday revealed a bunch of new figures at HasCon 2023, the first wave of Legacy United. And before we go into actually talking about the toys in depth, what were your overall thoughts on the reveals?
Well, you mean just like the entire first wave?
Yeah. Like, did you have a good impression?
I think a lot of people have pointed this out. It is sort of refreshing that pretty much the entire first wave, I mean, unless you want to count certain figures on a technicality, there's no G1, which is kind of refreshing in this day and age.
No, absolutely. I will say that I wholeheartedly agree. In general, I'll say first wave, honestly, it's got me pretty interested. I did pre-order most of the wave, I'll say that. But I'm saying it's pretty refreshing because I've been doing this thing on Twitter where I've been doing like a map where I'm mapping out where like all these different characters in line come from, and
I've been keeping up with that. It's really cool.
Yeah, you compare it from like the very first one I did, like when Legacy Year 1 was wrapping up back in like last summer, and genuinely like half the characters were just from like the original G1 toy line, and then you add like JG1 and Sunbow characters onto it, and it's like that's more than half the line. And now it's like there have not been a lot of Generation 1 toy characters added. A lot of it's been either JG1, the characters from the Sunbow cartoon, or if you want to stretch it, like IDW characters have been like the bulk of the G1 stuff they're doing. And honestly, it does feel very refreshing, And like without going too far into leaks, too, the few characters we have next year for United that are from the G1 toy line are either characters who haven't gotten a toy in like a decade, or toys that stand to get a quote unquote like proper version, like Quake, because Quake was a headmaster. I think Time to Turn Quake was great, but I'm open to them doing like a a non-headmaster one that comes with tip top and heater and everything. So I feel
Yeah.
like they're being a lot more conscious about what G1 characters they do that will satisfy people without bugging them too much. And unfortunately, again, going off of leaks and stuff, I do feel like maybe they're pushing a couple of those characters that would bug people to see them again so soon and just put them in studio series instead, which I don't want to get into that because, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother can of worms.
It would be a can of worms I'd be interested in talking about at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely next month when they reveal all of SS Wave 1 for next year.
Oh, cannot wait for that. So I guess let's just jump right in. First up is one which I'm guessing Runestone here would be very interested in. It is Tasmania Kid.
Oh, you have no idea. For those watching this live stream, for context, in the American Beast Wars toy line, you had Basic Class Snarl, who for Takara's Beast Wars 2nd in Japan was released as a separate character named Tasmania Kid. The two toys are virtually identical to each other. However, since Tasmania Kid is the one with the actual media exposure and characterization to some extent, that's who they market this as. Although, of course, this could, be repurposed as Snarl if you want. And of course, media since then has gone on to depict the two as coexisting, like as you can see in IDW's Beast Wars source book. Personally, I'd like it if we're jumping on the who will this be redecoed into in the future train. I'd honestly like to see Tasmania Kid redecoed slightly for Snarl. I just like having them both together.
Why didn't have Snarl be like somewhat yellow?
I could definitely see something like that. I'd honestly dig it. I mean, I have the original Snarl, fantastic basic class, by the way, but that's basically all the 97. All the 97 basics are pretty terrific, the ones I've handled. But like it'd be cool because I don't think I'm sort of lying. The whole Siege Onwards era of Generations has given us like a couple of toy only characters like Shadow Panther and Buzzsaw and stuff, but not too many Maximals yet, I don't think. So it'd be nice to start getting some of the toy exclusive Maximals in, and I wouldn't mind a Snarl repaint at all. I'd still buy it.
I'm just still sort of astonished at the character choice because Japanese Beast Wars rarely ever gets any sort of, I guess, spotlight here. I mean, of course, we just got Lio Convoy this year, but he's Lio Convoy. Everyone knows Lio Convoy, and he can, of course, be sold as Leo Prime or what have you. But Tasmania Kid, especially the name Tasmania Kid, I never expected to see show up in leaks until it did.
Yeah, I honestly thought that they were perhaps going to rename him like they did for Leo Prime.
Yeah,
well,
but
Leo
I
don't know. I believe it's been stated multiple times that like Leo Prime is chalked up to like copyright stuff where they can't use the name Convoy, like for illegal stuff. Which is a shame, personally. I still think, obviously, Lio Convoy is the much better name, but Leo Prime's been the one they've been using for the character since, Classics? Way back in 2006 with the Legends class Leo Breaker reissue.
Yeah, so, I have that one. It's a good toy.
At this point, I can imagine for the people who, casually keep in touch with Transformers, not to the extent of people like us. I'm talking, people who collect only a handful of figures a year. That's probably the name they're way more familiar with.
You know who I'd like to see this be redecoed into? I wouldn't necessarily buy it, but it'd be amusing if they recolor this into Rogue Bound from Robot Masters.
Ooh, that's a nice Selects release. I think one reason why they went with the name Tasmania Kid, it might just be because to distance him from the Dinobot Snarl, who was in War Class just this year.
I think it's definitely...
I think he was in the final wave of Evolution, if I recall correctly.
He was. That was the other figure I got with Bombshell. They saved the best Dinobot for last. I'm just saying he's a utterly fantastic core. But
all I can say is I'm waiting for Dino King.
I mean, the whole thing regarding the Dinobots is that with these legacy toys, they've been using the insert universe prefix. So I mean, if they were to release this as Snarl, they probably just market it as Beast Wars Universe Snarl, so that could be their way around it. Also, if I may add, there has actually been additional Japanese Beast Wars representation in the modern era in the form of Select's God Neptune.
Oh yeah, right.
How could I?
Although to be fair, a lot of that is because they did the G1C cons, and the Space Pirates were just a recolor and retool away.
You know,
This is true.
if we're gonna start getting,
They also did Skywarp, which you just
oh yeah,
reviewed
right.
like
Oh my
yesterday.
god, they did do Skywarp, which still I think rocks a Skywarp, but a proper one would be better. But good point also. If we're gonna start getting like Lyle Convoy's crew, I think Snarl or Tasmania Kids, all that we're getting next year. But like if we do get like Diver, Bighorn, Scuba, and who's the last one? Apache, like from 2025 onwards. I think it'd be pretty nice to get that God Neptune reissue out because assuming they come do it because it's a fantastic set.
I'd love to see it.
Agreed.
I'd love to see a core class diver, and with all those Japanese Beast Wars characters coming out, just imagine the redeckers we get from that: Bone Crusher, Baboon, Clawjaw, etc.
It would be amazing to get all those guys. I have like most of their original toys, but like just to see them again in an updated form would be amazing. But anyways, what do you guys actually think of Tasmania Kid, the figure itself?
I think he looks okay. I mean, those panels on his back look pretty egregious, but like I get it. At least the transformation looks interesting with carrying over the head, forming the feet. That was probably my favorite aspect of the original's transformation, or at least what I've seen of it, because I don't have the figure. My Beast Wars collection is nowhere near as expansive as either of yours.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first, saw this figure in the listings, my worst fears was that it was just going to be a retool of Kingdom Rat Trap.
Oh my gosh!
That would
thankfully, they didn't go that route, and he's looking all the more awesome for it.
Main thing I'm shocked about is like my favorite thing about it personally is like they really did a great job at making me want to buy this while still keeping the original one to use as like my Beast Wars Snarl, because like this is like basically dead on like how he looked in the cartoon head and all, like the more stylized chest. I'm really into it for that reason. Like it looks fantastic as like a 1-to-1 translation with just some additional sculpting. It will fit in very well with Lyle Convoy basically.
And the fake lower jaw chest, I think, was a wise decision because it allows them to get away with using the actual jaw as a heel spurs to help stabilize the figure.
Yeah, and it also doubles as an opening jaw. I like that. That's a nice touch.
And one other neat thing that I've only seen a couple of people mention, myself included, is that he, for his tail cannon, uses a 5mm port. This is just a very minor thing, but that means you can use the Maximal Buster gun that came with Copy Convoy, so you can have him hold the Maximal Buster like all the Maximals did in the show in some form, which is like I don't know if that was intentional or not, but like just a neat little touch that I really kind of appreciate instead of them using like a 3mm peg.
All right, so is that all our thoughts on Snarl wrapped up?
Basically, I'd like to say so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to turn into a very negative Nelly. Energon Megatron. I do not like this one. I don't.
I'm shocked.
I was so excited for it because I was like, "Ooh, Energon, one of my favorite toy lines." It's actually getting to the point where I actually start to prefer Energon toys over Cybertron ones just because they do so many wacky things. And Energon Megatron was one of the very first figures I ever got, like even before I had long-term memory. But I don't know, he just looks like a Happy Meal toy, and I don't like it.
Do you know that there's an actual Happy Meal toy for Energon Megatron?
Yes, and it only looks marginally worse.
I'm not gonna lie. Like it's okay. I mean, I bet a lot of these releases that just look okay in pictures are probably going to be better in hand. Fingers crossed. I think he would have looked at least a little bit better if I'm always going to say this. With few exceptions, the gray plastic should be silver paint.
I don't know. I think the gray actually really works on this one. It's very in these pictures. It looks very close to the original.
Yeah, no, I think they did make the right choice. Yeah, sorry, you go first.
It's just I don't think this design is well flattered by the core class because all the details are so soft, and like look at the cockpit in like just that entire backpack piece. It looks like soft and cheap, and I know it's hollow from the underside, and I mean that it is what it is. But the tank cannon, the wings, they all look soft, and I just do not like this color of green.
Yeah, no, I feel like if they went with something a little bit more darker, but maybe hit something a little bit metallic, it would have looked really nice. Well, I assume they went with it because I think the wings are molded in that shade of green, which honestly, if I were the one working on this, I probably wouldn't have done it in that way. I know they probably got to use a certain amount of that green plastic to justify having it in the first place, but like having the
Yeah.
entirety of the underside of the wing, which we see in robot mode, be green is a little bothersome. At the very least, I would have at least painted the edges of the wing in like gray or blue or something just to help break it up, because that sea of green is a little bit weird. But otherwise, I'm into it actually. I'll tell you guys this: when they first showed it off, like when they were bringing it onto the table Friday, I was like, oh god, is it just like a half-assed retool of upcoming core class G1 Galvatron? But no, like I'm like surefire. This is absolutely meant to be like it is meant to be Energon Megatron, and I do understand.
No doubt.
But like for me, I think it hits the right notes, except those like ugly green wings and also just shade of green in general. And I am surprised like how like dead on it is. I was expecting it since most UT figures design wise, I don't know about execution, but design wise do hit the right notes. But like having like the Rumbler tank have the sword there instead of just being the tank is a nice touch, and I do like that he has the cannons they can articulate and stuff. But at the same time, I do like understand like how you guys feel about the deco and how soft it looks. But maybe I'm hoping that Galvatron looks a lot better, which I feel like it's gonna like.
Yeah, if I buy a version of this mold, it's probably going to be the Galvatron redeco.
I just think this design would have been far better suited for at least a Voyager.
You know what? Sorry, go on.
I think the big thing to take away in general is that while I do like the figure, I do plan on buying it just to be like, it looks like a fun fiddle toy. And plus, like, I want to tell Hasbro, hey, let's get more Energon stuff. I still don't know if this is the first Energon figure we should have gotten. I know they want to play it safe because apparently back in the day, for some reason, there's this like weird level of hatred towards Energon, which cartoon I understand, but the toy line was fine. Not every figure.
The toy line was goated.
So like, I personally feel like if they want to do a core class Energon figure, they probably could have played it easy and done like an RC or maybe one of the other Omnicons. RC probably wouldn't have happened since we just got a bike RC that literally shares the exact same colors. But like, I'm just talking in terms of like,
most of the transformation.
Yeah, so like, but in like the sense of like having something that could quote unquote scale with all your other legacy Transformers from across the franchise, like I feel like an Omnicon or RC would have been better. But maybe they're saving them for deluxe class in like 2025 or something.
You know what I've seen online. I'd love to see like a 2-pack of the core class G1 Optimus Prime and a retool of this Megatron as a Shattered Glass 2-pack.
Oh yeah, I gotta find out because I do want to. If this is coming out in January, which I'm pretty sure it is, like everything else in the wave, I'm gonna try and get that 2-pack out for like TFCon or something because I haven't.
Yeah, I would buy that. I would actually buy that
because oh god, I assume people are like itching for a new SG Optimus considering how stupid expensive the first one is.
I don't know. I got it for a pretty good price, and that
Yeah,
was
no,
like
I got
a
it for
year
retail.
after its
Like
release.
I bought that SG 2-pack for like $50 at some random toy store about an hour away from me. Like literally just as like the prices on that 2-pack were starting to go like stupid expensive.
All right. Moving on to something I don't really think anyone's that excited for. We have Boulder Crash, one of the, what are they called? Armorizers?
Armorizers from the Infernac universe.
Oh boy. I like the idea of rock people. I know a lot of us expected them to be rock lords, and I have to say the sculpt work on I'm assuming this is a woman.
We don't know. There's like I'll say this before you go. There's like no bios out for any of them, which is like it sucks because new characters are awesome, right? But like when you give them either barely anything to go off of or nothing, it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Compared to like the bios we had for so many years that were like a paragraph long and stuff.
Yeah,
it does suck a little, but yeah, go on.
But yeah, all I have to say about these is that the sculpt work on both her and Magnius here are amazing. Like, look at that vehicle mode shot; that's brilliant. But I would like these toys to have more than one color. You know,
Nice.
I mean, I get this one has the red, but the toy is already a sort of burnt burgundy anyway, so it just kind of gets lost. And then silver on gray. Super interesting.
I think the vibe they were going with, because genuine, like, it went from, like, in, like, the span of a week, it went from, oh, these are literally just going to be transforming rocks to, oh, these are going to be, like, rock vehicles. I assume they would still have some kind of technological detail to still show off that they're robots to, oh, they're, like, 90% actually just made of rocks.
Yeah.
So I think with that thing where they're literally just covered in rocks, there's, like, barely any things to make you tell that they're a robot. They decide to go with the couple of similar tones like real life rocks go for most of the time, but like still as a robot toy I kind of imagine like it does make them kind of bland in the long run. I think Magnius works better, but Boulder Crash still does it for me. But no, I definitely get where that vibe comes from, because he they whatever, it's a pretty flat deco. But what I do like about Boulder Crash is like they did add those, if you go back to like the pictures of Boulder Crash, they did add those hits of like red in between the lines, which I think does personally help a lot.
It's better than nothing, but I really think Magnius could have used a lot more of that, because his name is Magnius.
That's amazing.
Where's the lava? Where's the magma?
I feel like he's based on Obsidian, so like I don't know I can't really come up with a name on the spot, but just in general, like I feel like maybe if they swapped decos, it would have been a lot better, which does, I guess, make me interested to see if we get a redeco of both down the line. I could totally see it, like how we got Drakeon from Vertebrake and Axel Breach from Scrapbook. They're more than willing to repaint and retool brand new characters into other brand new characters. So
I would be interested in this mold in black and silver.
Yeah, no,
I'd love to see one or both of these molds in an ice themed.
Oh my god,
that would be cool. But literally, I guess my point would be that rocks don't have to be boring. They come in all sorts of colors, and a lot of the time they are multicolored. Like they could have made a transformer based off of a geode or something, and it would look brilliant. But
well, I'll say this: we got 2 more deluxes and a core class, and I expect some kind of repaint for all of them, and like maybe a couple of the exclusive stuff. I'm very interested in seeing where they are, but Boulder Crash specifically, I think they look pretty all right. They're probably like, I really want them still, but they are like probably the least interesting of the wave, but they still look fun. And I'm actually, have you guys seen the Armorizer weapon mode that this figure has, where it's like a giant blade? You just stick that blade up. There's a handle that sticks off the back of the figure, and you just pop it in, and it's like a big sword, like a big cleaver. And I'm into it.
We love a big sword.
It's something I kind of wish, honestly, like they did Drakeon, or Drakeon and Vertebrake, 2 years ago. And they're fun figures. I really love them as just like a simple core mold, but it's so weird how they made these little skeletal dudes, and they did not fit in and do much with the other skeletal dudes they made in Kingdom, aside from like fan modes and stuff. Which,
yeah, that's a good point.
This is definitely like turning that around and making them fit in with the whole Armorizer ecosystem a lot better. So I'm way more interested in them for that.
Definitely.
These are probably going to be sorry. I just say these are probably going to be the ones that I buy on clearance, because I'm not that into these. I mean, it's a cool concept, but compared to a lot of the other reveals, these will be the ones I might buy at a reduced price. Who knows?
Yeah, no, but
yeah, I'm thinking about skipping these entirely unless they get redecoed into something more visually interesting. Because I would love to get like say even an ice theme version of Magnius.
God, I really hope that I've been thinking of repaints to do, because like no, these are completely brand new. They're obviously not pre-tools for anything. That would make no sense. But like, if this isn't really inspiring me to maybe take a crack at like doing different rock or different nature decoed themes for customs. So we'll see what happens, because now I'm really tempted to do those.
All right, moving on, I guess, to Windblade. What do y'all think of this one?
She looks all right.
She definitely looks like a Cyberverse character.
She does, as compared to a Shadow Striker, who, okay, I like her in a vacuum as like her own thing, but like no, she is absolutely not Cyberverse Shadow Striker, and I wholeheartedly understand why people were like super disappointed by her. So seeing this now, it makes me feel, oh great, they actually based off her design, but now it also makes me think, why didn't they do the same for Shadow Striker? That was weird, because they're like 2 waves apart. I
Well,
find that.
obviously they're setting her up for Sideburn.
Yeah, no, I just mean like I don't know. They could have repainted her from like a retool her from like a Datsun, maybe Jazz again, like Knockout. But I get the whole Shadow Striker connection. But again, as like a Cyberverse Shadow Striker, it does like squat to actually beat her. Aside from that really nice head.
I'm still on my negative streak here because I was never a fan of Cyberverse. I don't like the aesthetic. But I will say this is a pretty successful take on that aesthetic, so I'll give them props for that at least. Do I need another Windblade? Probably not. I am perfectly okay with the Titans Return version, as bad as that is.
Yeah, you think it's bad? I think actually I have the LG one from Takara with Toy Hack stickers, and I think I'm more than happy with that actually as my Generation 1 Windblade. But because of that, I'm in the same boat as you where I have no reason to buy this Windblade figure for Windblade. I plan on buying her for a repaint or two, but otherwise I'm going to be passing on her as Windblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Just say I'll probably be picking this one up because I actually at one point reviewed the original Windblade toy, and it wasn't that great personally. Well, at least, well, I don't think it was anyway. But a lot of that was because, well, she's made of some sort of soft plastic that made tapping her together in play mode a bit of a nuisance, and she had just had a really bad foot design because they insisted on those high heels, and the actual heel piece kept it didn't lock into place. It kept moving out, so she couldn't stand very well. So I'm hoping that this is an improvement in at least that department.
Oh, I mean, like, look at those stompers. Like, those boots are giant. So, like, I think you'll be in good hands.
They really went out of their way to compensate.
The only other thing I have to say is, I just kind of feel like we're at a point where like having the arms on the side of the jet is kind of a weird look for jet formers in 2023. I'm not saying like every jet former in the past few years has been like perfect, but like you take a figure like Needle Nose from this year, literally this year, right? And yeah, he does hide his arms in a much cleaner way. You know, he still is a whole body's under the side of the jet, but the way his limbs move around and stuff, you know, it does help the illusion a little bit better. I think the way the legs clean up is actually really nice looking, but it's just you can literally just see the hands sticking out from there. And like on something like Tarn from this year, I can kind of forgive it because like it's all the way on the back and it's a futuristic tank. So I don't know, something, you know, you can chalk it up to that. But like Windblade here is a pretty like earthy jet with VTOL wings, so like it doesn't help. I feel like we should be beyond the point where hands are just hanging out like that, but I don't know. Maybe it will be more just not.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, that's all I had to say on her.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think she would have worked better at the Voyager price point?
Yeah, and like this is a thing I see in a lot of the circles I'm in is that like we need more Voyager fembots. I honestly agree. Like, do I want Windblade to be one of the first in a while to happen? Because the last one was, I think, like what Power to Prime's Alita, freaking 5 years ago, going on 6 now. Yeah. But like, if it would have helped clean her up better, yeah, sure. And then plus, it would have probably chilled a lot of people out on the Slipstream retool. Because I've seen a lot of people being like, assuming she is a Slipstream retool, like I've seen a lot of people kind of myth that Slipstream's gonna be a deluxe if it's like their G1 stand-in, which is like absolutely fair. And it's like maybe a Voyager class would have helped alleviate that kind of feeling.
I would like to take a moment to complain about a trend that I've been noticing lately in new Transformers toys, and one I especially noticed in these particular reveals. Just that the undersides of wings are so hollow.
Oh,
like they're just full of holes, and they're facing forward on all the figures. It's a problem here on Windblade. It's very obvious, but it's a problem on another figure we're going to get to soon enough.
I will say
it's just a really poor show.
It's pretty gross. I'll absolutely agree. Cause like, you know, I disassemble these things for a hobby, and you know, I've noticed lately a lot of the time we get a lot of figures where they will use like panels. Like they will do like screw on panels or just panels that tab in on a couple of tabs to help fill holes and stuff. Like new Skyquake and Dreadwing from this year, like their thighs are on mushroom joints, but then they put a piece of plastic over it, screw it on, and then boom, you don't see the mushroom peg, you don't see any hollow gaps. And there is another figure, it's Bumblebee. So we've seen him for the past like week or so. He has those on like the bottom of his thighs and under his feet. So like I don't know why they didn't do it on Windblade. It's like literally just a big thin piece of plastic you stab on, and then you could still like leave space for those holes to be there, so you can do all the armorizing and whatever. Yeah,
At the very least,
like I can't disagree.
At the very least, I think they should have just found a way to turn the wings around so that the tops face forward. I would have preferred that.
Yeah, it's really the only thing that's like that, and the hands are really the only things that stand out to me as like bad things. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty satisfactory return to Windblade because it's been like 5 years since she's gotten a toy anywhere from Hasbro, and I think most people are pretty cool with her because like she was the first United figure to sell out on Pulse. Before like certain other characters, which I thought would sell out way before.
Really?
Yeah, no. She's probably back in stock at this point. Like, they're filling orders back up, all that. But like, I think it does say something when she, of all characters, is the first one to sell out that, yeah, people are probably asking for both more Fembots, more Windblades, all that. So like, I think in the long run, she will be probably a pretty well-received figure. Like
all I have to say is that since all of these reveals are wave 1 of United, I don't think I'll have a single problem finding any of these into 2025.
Not fair. The only reason I pre-ordered most of these is because of Mark. But I actually didn't pre-order Windblade. Like I said, I just wanted for a custom. So like I'll just pick her up at retail when that time comes.
All right. Well, my time as a negative Nelly has come to an end because we are talking about toddler maxing.
Oh my gosh, I am shocked, but also like I'm very happy to see that like this is actually just most people's favorite deluxe from the wave, because I am quite blown away at how great he looks. I can't hide how I feel. He looks utterly, I don't want to say fantastic yet, but like just from pictures alone and everything we've seen, he looks pretty great.
I'm surprised they went this all out on a Rescue Bots character, and I'm kind of impressed by that.
Yeah,
they're really showing that they have faith in this design, and I think it turned out well. I like how the headlights just sort of come up independent of the feet. I didn't really notice that until just now. It looks cool.
And another thing I've seen, again, only like a couple people mention, is that like, well, number one, he's got a lot of clear plastic, as in like he's got like 4 different shades of it. I know the way they do it is they take a plain clear plastic and they dye it different colors, but like still, he's got like a light blue, a plain blue, a red, and a yellow, and it all looks great. And second is that the headlights are inserted and not like just painted, and that's like,
we love to see it.
It's like the tiny things that like that give you that like mark of quality, or like that feeling of like, oh, you're messing with a higher quality figure than most of the time. Again, it's just crazy. All of this is on the kids show character. Well, kids show first show that came out 12 years ago or something, but
shoot, people who grew up with Rescue Bots are probably old enough for Chug now, huh?
And I mean, just look he looks great. He's got like 5 accessories too, because that claw turns into like a pair of hooks and a thingamajig for a handle, and then he's got the 2 arm things. I've never watched Rescue Bots, so I don't know if those are things from the original design or not, but like they're cool. And again, the main thing I get out from this is like, why isn't this how RC, Bulkhead, Knockout, why isn't this how they were designed? Because like I'm saying this because Chase is a line character.
It's because Prime fans deserve less.
But like no, it's just like this screams Chase while also still being like very much updated to fit with the current era of figure design. And it's like, God, how I do wish some of those Prime figures turned out like this.
Speaking of Prime figures, have you heard the rumors about this one?
Yes, I've heard lots of rumors. I've seen a couple digibashes already for the 2.
I think there's more to it than most rumors. I can definitely see this one being turned into Cliff Jumper.
And that's one. And then the other one is I've heard, or not heard, but like people have pointed out certain details, such as there's these like little ridges on the forearms, the grip, the shin details, like those vent looking things. And of course the muscle Kari alt mode that seems to lockdown. And don't know how I feel about it still, because I still think ROTF reigns supreme as like the greatest lockdown figure anyone's ever made. But if we got this as like a Cyberverse universe lockdown, I'd be fine with it. It's better than an Axel Grease retool. I'll keep it real with you guys.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, there is a rumored lockdown in the supposed upcoming Star Seekers subline.
Oh yeah, it's not a rumor. It's just like the listing's out there. It's happening. It's just what mold he will be. It's like we can only guess. But if I had to pick a mold, I'd just pick Jace because I think he hits enough notes for it to be fine enough. I think for a G1-ified update.
Yeah, not gonna lie, this toy's looking pretty solid. I have no particular attachment to Rescue Bots, but this is probably going to be the one of the figures from Wave 1 that I'm going to pick up first.
Oh
Yeah, he just looks good.
Again, it's just all surprising because the kid's character. No shade to it. It's just like I didn't think this was the one they'd go hard on. That's basically it. But I'm glad they did because like that means it just means our toys are worth more.
Oh yeah, someone in the chat just pointed out that Prime fans did get a good toy, being Skyquake. I have to agree with that.
I do agree, and some QC stuff aside, which actually it turns out like Dreadwing fixed up with like the way the nose cone tabs in, and the arms sit. Yeah, no, he's pretty fantastic. Just I have Skyquake, gonna get Dreadwing eventually, and praying that we get literally every other repaint that style. Megaplex. Give me
Machine War Starscream.
Give me King Atlas. Give me G1 Skyquake. Most importantly, like
I would kill for G1 colors.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I kind of see this being retooled into Energon Downshift.
Yeah, someone else in the chat said G1 Downshift as well.
Oh my gosh, I would have liked for as long as they're like they actually fit the mold. I'm ready for like Camshaft Overdrive and who's the last one? I don't know why I'm blanking. Camshaft Overdrive.
Yeah, Camshaft Overdrive
Downshift. I'm ready for all of them to get like new figures because like there's not a lot of G1.
We already have Power Dashers. What's taking so long for the Omnibots?
It's just probably they're based on actual existing cars. I'm not saying they'd be licensed cars. It's just like they have like cars to go off of as well as pretty unconventional transformation schemes, especially for. I think it's Camshaft, the one that's like has the rear of the vehicle become the chest. We never get that, so like I'd imagine I have to imagine they'd be new molds.
Well, I was thinking more Energon Downshift. The one that looks like Wheeljack but isn't.
I guess I'd take a reshell. I think with the Energon stuff, I'd like for them to still be able to combine, even if it's jank and stuff. It's like part of. It's like the only reason why I care about Energon Autobots for the most part, because most of them don't really vibe with me. Specifically, I'm more into the Decepticons from that line. So, if they didn't have the combining feature, it'd be a way harder sell for me personally.
Yeah. All right, should we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is next? Oh, right, animated Bumblebee.
Oh man, Mr. Controversy man.
I have to say I did not like it when I first saw it, but it has warmed up to me a bit. It's just I still have a lot of problems with it.
That's fair. I was pretty mixed up. Surprisingly for me, I'm like, I can be easy to please. I was, and I'm all, but like my thing is like I'm the anime guy, and I did have to. I saw this at 1 a.m. I was like, oh, okay, and I slept on it. It's still been growing on me over time, but there are some things that still bug me. The main one being that actually I think the body does suit them pretty well. I'm gonna be for like what they're trying to do. I think it works, but I don't like how they tried and slapped on, or how it's not even tried, they did. They basically slapped on G1 Bumblebee's kind of deco onto animated Bumblebee, and I think it's for worse. The main one being like how his hands are entirely black, how his thighs are entirely black, and my thing is like animated Bumblebee, he's got that like kind of race car driver look, not as much as like Hotshot from Armada, but like he's got like the yellow thighs, the largely yellow thighs. He's got like the gloved looking hands. And like, I feel like taking those away does I feel like that more than the design itself takes away a lot from animated Bumblebee feeling like his own guy. Because like here's the thing. I think my favorite thing about this figure actually is the alt mode looks spot on, but it turns into this more kind of bricky Bumblebee. I haven't watched any reviews of it. I'm gonna probably go in blind when this comes out. I'm excited.
There were reviews of it yet.
I'm excited to see like how his transformation works. That's the main thing that gets me. Overall, I think he's grown on me, but I won't lie when I say I'm gonna probably paint him up a lot just to like color correct.
I mean, not really. Sorry, go on.
I think he. I I think he looks pretty good, except for just some things like his shoulders are weird, but at least they're flattered in this picture. I don't like how much clear plastic he uses. It's kind of ugly, and yellow paint on clear plastic never really looks good. Um, at least he comes with a lot of accessories.
He
And by a
does,
lot,
and
I just mean
also
4.
he does seem to have pretty great articulation because, like, he's got he's got hands that flip in and out. Lots of Transformers have it, but surprisingly, I think he got a ball jointed hand. Like the
Yeah, he
piece that
does.
flips out is not the entire wrist. It's like a piece that flips out, and then there's a socket. They put a ball joint in, and that's how you get wrist articulation. And I think stuff like that does go a long way to making it worth $25. Because again, that's the other thing I've seen people really turned off by is the price, which more than fair
Yeah, he's
enough.
so small.
And like, no, don't. He's basically the exact same size as Cliff B and all their friends from War for Cybertron trilogy. It's just the price that is $5 more than when we bought all those guys 3 years ago. So that definitely stings a little bit. If I wasn't so big into animated, I probably would skip this for a sale, but I'm gonna buy it right away because I gotta check it out.
I think I might get this one. I think I might.
I'm definitely interested in whatever repaints they do. I'm expecting Wasp, but like if they do Cliff and stuff, yeah, I'll buy them.
I would love to see some of those like really obscure like Brazil only characters.
Oh yeah, the guys with their own heads. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get that because with they only bake so many heads into the mold unless they go back later and add more heads. Like something like the previously mentioned SG Sideswipe that head wasn't made when Siege Sideswipe was being like conceptualized like 5 years ago. Yeah. It was added later when they were like, all right, time to do it. So I hope like down the line maybe get some of those guys, but at the most right now I'm expecting Cliff and Wasp, and I think because of the thing you mentioned where you clear yellow or clear plastic with painted yellow on top does look kind of rough. I feel like they're gonna look better for it, so I'm definitely anticipating them. But we're not gonna see them in mainline. They'll probably pop up in like Buzzworthy or something.
So Runestone, I'm very well aware that you didn't really dive into the animated toy line the first go around, just because there were so many toys. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, for starters, in regards to me not getting the majority of the animated line, it's just what I couldn't get at the time, But as for this toy, I will say, and I think we might all be in agreement on this, that the initial leaked pictures of this one did it no favors whatsoever because the shoulders look really weirdly constructed.
Yeah,
like the official images that have been released since then, they've done it a bit more justice. But this is probably another one of the ones that I'm gonna hold off on for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I've never owned the original animated Bumblebee mold yet. If I do, it'll probably be the Elite Guard redeck, which that could very well happen here too. You never know.
Oh, I could totally see like
it'd be a very simple repaint.
Like this is just spitballing, but there is like a listing for a Generation Selects Autobot multi-pack. It could be anything, of course, but I would not be shocked if it turns out to be like Elite Guard, Prowl, and Bumblebee based on their elusive, Prowl's elusive Tokyo, Tokyo Toy Show repaint, and Bumblebee's Elite Guard repaint. I'd very much think those would be welcome repaints.
I would like to point out that we reached our peak view count here talking about animated Bumblebee. So, of course, it had to be this toy. All right. If we're done with this one, let's move on to the other animated reveal, Optimus Prime. And I must say, he was a lot more exciting than Bumblebee.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I gotta say, not even weird. No, honestly, quite justified 360 people had like online when Bumblebee leaked out versus when Optimus was revealed with just like a couple of stock photos. It's like, I think it's very emblematic of like how much better this guy pulled off the aesthetic mix.
Definitely.
Better than I think this guy and Chase are like the new gold standard for like what we should hope to expect with every like animated Prime, Cyberverse, etc. like character popping up in Legacy and what comes after. It's like this hits the mark so hard.
Good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think even TG Omega said that a lot of people feared that the animated Prime would just be like more G1 with that light bar on top. And I'm going to tell you, I've never been more happy to have been proven
my
wrong.
Yeah, no, because I'm so because again, same thing with Bumblebee 2 in vehicle mode, right? But one of the things that's striking about animated is just kind of the angles, the roundness, all those things, from DJW's art style, and like they both captured so well. And can I be real? Like I do very much enjoy Prowl from this year, but regarding the vehicle mode, no, it did not really capture it, especially in like the front of the bike. So it's really nice to see them turn around and just go so hard. And there are a couple of things here which like rewatching the show. I watched a couple of episodes when he was revealed, right? That made me realize, oh, they did things the original toy did. And the original toy is like someone I have in my room, like it's like right on my left, right? Like I totally forgot he has like red and blue sirens, and like they added it like that.
Yeah.
And also like they got the wheels perfect. Like the way it's like so genuinely incredibly genius the way they got the wheels to work while also still evoking that look where you got the wheels in the front, but they're like super duper hidden. So he still has that weird like front loaded look. And it's like I don't know who designed it. I can't wait to hear from like Mark, Evan, whoever who worked on it, but whoever worked on it put way too much love into it. And like I'm so glad about it.
I don't think you can put too much love into a Transformer.
Oh no, yeah. But like something that just makes me so it's like also the little things. Like my main thing is that axe, because when I saw that axe, he was double gripping it in the stock photo. I was like, oh, he's gonna pull a Gamer Prime and have like a stick accessory to elongate it. But no, it's telescopic. And that I don't want to say that blew my mind, but like to just have such a
it was a nice surprise.
Like an actual like play feature on a Voyager. Like, I expect stuff like that.
Oh,
on, like,
yeah, because it could do that in the show, couldn't it?
Yeah. So like what I mean is just like, whenever we see like a play feature of sorts, or like when we get a figure that feels very toyetic and playable, it nowadays does feel like it's usually reserved for like Commander class and up. But like to have a figure like Prime come out with an axe that like actually can be like pulled up and down instead of like just taking the stick on your table and just pegging it in, boom, now it's a double bladed axe like Gamer Prime did. It's just like it just helps it feel much more like a toy, which is, as much as Hasbro and the designers and even us often want to treat these as like collectible action figures of a high quality. No, at the end of the day, they are toys. They should be toys. So like to have stuff like this being slowly reintroduced, it's a good sign to me at least.
Yeah, I mean, other than the hubcaps not being painted silver, I think this is easily the best of the animated updates, of the 3 animated updates so far, and I honestly can't wait to see this in Motormaster colors.
Mm-hmm. And I will be buying it in this week. Whatever colors they drop this in, I will be buying it. I already want to do some customs. Like this is the winner of the wave for me. Like without a question, I knew it was going to be, but like I'm blown away by how much work they put into making it the winner of the wave.
I'm sorry. By telescoping parts.
What can I say?
If they do end up doing a Motormaster out of this mold, I think it would be kind of disappointing if we don't get the other 4.
Oh yeah, because like
from the Stunticon job. But at the same time, do we really need another Jazz, another Lockdown, another RC?
You say that, but I feel like if they do start opening up to more of the cast, I still think we should get Ratchet, Bulkhead, Megatron first.
Definitely.
Right? But like if they start opening it up and literally doing like the show cast, I'd buy all of them if they turn out as good as Prime and like even Prowl and stuff. So yes, I think I just still find it crazy they are doing Motormaster in the main line for Wave 4. It's an end of line repaint,
Yeah.
It's gonna. They did it with like Copy Convoy and Wave Legacy 2022's Voyagers in its last wave were both also brand new actually. So, but like, I'm very happy they're doing such a wild pick, and I do hope that means maybe in 2025 we see maybe like a Jazz and a Lockdown, maybe an RC, like slowly, but it's like these kinds of things.
I'd like to see a new Sentinel Prime.
Oh no, 100%. But like we gotta recognize, even for like the G1 characters, they it's a thing where we do kind of have to wait a couple of years to finish them off. Like we Titans Return, we got all 3 Decepticon headmasters in like 2017, 2016, and then like Scorponok came out 3 years later, and then a year before that was Eighth Face, and at around the same time as Scorponok was Snapdragon. So like it took like 4 years to finish that group of 6 characters. So
yeah,
I think if we played a waiting game, these things will happen, and Let's hope they turn out great, like Optimus does. Also, I instantly pre-ordered Optimus, no question about it. The only thing that was weird was Big Bad swapped the prices between this and the Leader repack, so I had to wait a little bit, but I did not pre-order.
All right, so I guess moving on to something that I have zero thoughts on, Thundertron. Out of left field.
I'm like kind of in the same space as you, but I want to hear what you think first.
Well, my only experience with the original Thundertron comes from his Japanese repaint Go Prime, the black, gray, and mouthwash teal version. And it's an alright toy. It certainly looks cool. But it's not really memorable. I just have no thoughts on it, you know?
So how do you feel about this one then by comparison? You feeling the same thing?
Yeah, I heard apparently the Lion mode was based off of Zoids, but I don't know what that is. So
well, Zoids is another Takara brand, which is why they could shoehorn it. It's not like official, but like the guys on the stream were like, they were like just talking about it, and they were like, oh, he visited Planet Z, spelled with a Z-I, and I looked it up. It's like a planet from Zoids. And
gotcha.
So honestly, wouldn't be surprised, because like that's the one thing that does impress me is like seeing this very nice, pretty decently articulated Lion mode, because I have the original Thundertron, it's a brick like in Lion mode. So like to see
definitely
play with, it's nice.
The front legs on the original barely exist, let alone be able to move.
Yeah, no, I might bust out Thundertron after the stream and mess with him and stuff. But like, yeah, no, they are very much like, they feel like phantom limbs, where like it's like the shape of a limb, but no, it's not actually a limb.
Yeah, I would definitely try out this mold if they repainted into Go Prime colors.
Yeah,
but otherwise, I'm not that interested. It certainly has style. I like that it can do the peg leg thing again.
Oh yeah, no. I'm with you. I'm going to probably pass on it initially because, as we know, we're getting a leader class version of this.
Yeah, what's up
in the
with
Walmart
that?
line? I'm expecting some kind of... You remember the spoiler packs? I'm expecting that, basically.
That would make sense.
But as this, I think it looks honestly pretty fun. But, like, I just got no reason to buy it. I'm more interested in that hypothetical Thunder Howl retool from Cyberverse. People have been like pointing out, oh, yeah, a lot of these details kind of line up in, like, the same way Chase has been talked about lately, and I don't know if the way like they like to repaint and retool these into like pretty nice, like into like pretty satisfactory versions of other characters. I can see them pulling a Thunder Howl out of this with like a new, like a new head, a new wolf head, and maybe some cape. But yeah, for now, this is probably going to be a pass unless I feel like maybe doing Alpha Trizer, Leo Prime, Go Prime.
Alpha Trizer would be cool, I guess.
Yeah, no, really. But again, I feel like Alpha Trizer and Go Prime will happen down the line. I just feel it. But otherwise,
give me my mouthwash lion.
Rune, what do you think of this?
Yeah, well, I think I'm in the camp, the ever-growing camp of this being a pretty left field choice in terms of characters to revisit. I mean, obviously, there's the whole thing about how the Star Seekers were supposed to be a thing in the Prime animated series, but that got dropped and replaced with the Predacons. The only fiction that I'm aware of that exists for Thundertron are two aligned novels, Exiles and Retribution, I believe they're called. And as for the original Thundertron toy, I've never experienced that, but I have seen reviews on it. And yeah, I am aware that it is very much a brick in its Lion mode, because it has this weird transformation element where the upper part of the foreleg becomes part of the robot arms, and the lower part with the claws become part of the shoulder guards. Mm-hmm. So as a result, the articulation is obstructed in that area. And I gotta say that even looking at this one, like obviously it's clearly more posable than that original figure, but there's something about the forelegs that just looks a bit off to me. Like, I mean, I get that
they're just so flat because they have to fold up into the shoulder pads.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like I sort of get that them looking kind of crooked ties into the whole pirate aesthetic on some level, but at the same time, it just.
I forgot we have a picture of the original.
Yeah, that's the original, but yeah, but for the new one, there's just something about the forelegs that just seem weirdly constructed to me, as all. And also, I don't know if we can get like a close up of this, but the face sculpt on the new Thundertron looks a bit too, in the robot mode that is, it looks a bit too gentle. Like it's not.
Happy Grandpa.
Yeah, I mean this. With that in mind, it does lead credence to the possibility that this will become Alpha Trizer at least. I mean that's just my thought anyway. I don't know about you guys.
I can definitely see it. Because like look at this mean mug on the original. So
Yeah, I mean, my general thing on the aesthetic thing is, again, like, this is very much in the. I know they changed it up a fair bit. Like, again, the shoulders transform completely differently. Same thing with the arms and stuff. But functionally, as a design, it's that same camp of making me think why they did the things they did with Bulkhead and RC and Knockout and all, right? Where like it was not really, it should not have been that hard to like update these, because again, Thundertron, you can tell it's Thundertron, just albeit, you know, a bit generations, a bit chugified, if you will. So I don't know. It's just much more of a. It makes me think retrospectively. I don't even dislike RC and Bulkhead and Knockout. It's just more like those are fine with me because I like using them as G1 versions of them. But like the Prime fans, no, I can understand being pretty bothered by how far they went in that G1 direction.
You know, this is going to sound kind of petty, but I think a lot of fans would have been, in regards to Knockout at least, I think a lot of fans wouldn't be as disappointed with that one if the center section of his chest could fold down so he has the headlight pecs of the original, but the midsection is flat. Like if you see the original toy and the animation model, I think that would have done it would have captured him a bit better.
Yeah, no, I think for Knockout, a lot of it was in that head sculpt. I like the figure overall. Again, I just use as my Generation 1 Knockout, but that head sculpt is dull, and it really takes out a lot of the character. Like, for me personally, it's a very weak head sculpt for me, and I think a lot of these Prime figures have been coming out after him have been able to course correct and make them actually look like their characters, while also still giving off that, again, slightly that vibe that they're like in a new universe with a new art style and such.
I'm surprised we were able to talk so much about Thundertron.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just more about talking about the direction where Prime's going. I do have to wonder what's next for a Prime universe, because I think Thundertron is our only Prime figure next year in United. So whatever comes after, I do wonder when like Optimus or Megatron or Starscream or Soundwave or Bumblebee, like any of the other major characters are finally going to show up, because it feels like it's been a while since we've tackled a show character. Well, I mean, Dreadwing just came out. He's, from what I know, I haven't watched Prime. He's a pretty prominent character in Prime, so he's just a repaint. I do wonder how they'll tackle like Prime characters from the show going from here on out, because it's been a lot more promising lately.
You know, in terms of Starseekers in general, it wouldn't exactly surprise me if they retooled Crankcase into Cannonball to go as a companion piece with this one.
I would hate that.
It's with a Crankcase into Cannonball thing. I feel like my reaction to it will depend on how they spin it, because if it's like a new incarnation of Cannonball, I can pass on it. If they try and sell it as Cybertron Universe Cannonball, I will be pretty upset.
I just hate the Crankcase mold. I hate it. It ruined the Skids mold. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's my least. It's the worst legacy figure I have. Crankcase. And I have freaking, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Point Blank.
What about Point Blank?
Medics?
Most people think he sucks, but I don't.
I've skipped on him because he's my favorite Target Master design, so I was really miffed with what happened to him. But if
neat.
If either A, I ever find him for like $15, which actually I think that's how much like TF Lance sells him for when they get an out of box one, or B, if that rumored cartoon accurate one with the cartoon head and everything actually ends up happening, I'll buy it, and like the non-FK, I'll probably be happy enough. Because again, I've heard from people like you and Riot Control that like he's actually not the worst thing ever. Like a lot of other people make him out to be. So I feel like maybe I let my biases.
He feels like a Unicron trilogy toy if you gutted the gimmicks.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of why I like him, because he just reminds me of the shitty toys that I had growing up.
I guess I'll depending on not depending on when Wave 2 gets revealed. When Wave 2 gets revealed, we're getting our final Autobot Target Master at Wave, so maybe when Chugcratic gets revealed, I'll like change my mind on point blank.
Someone in the chat just said, if we get a Prime Universe Megatron, I hope he has the Dead Prime arm and Dark Star Saber. I feel like this is something that could be a thing, especially with the swappable arms that we've been getting in Gamer Edition stuff.
Yeah,
I think we could really bring that over for a Prime Megatron. I think it would be pretty cool.
As long as they do it like cleanly enough in the sense of like because I haven't messed with any Gamer Edition figures just yet, but I don't know how strong a 5mm port you keep plugging and unplugging accessories and arms into and off of is. I don't know how long.
I have Gamer Edition Megatron, and his is holding up pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, but like,
so go on.
Stuff like Prime Optimus and Megatron, they're not my Optimus Prime and Megatron. I just didn't watch their show growing up, so it'd be a hard sell. But like, if they do stuff like that to make it a more fun and worthwhile toy, I'd be interested. I'd find some reason to buy them, or at least buy them for a custom.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
going in a promising direction. Yeah,
really. I'm just saying, with these armorizers out there, you know, beings made of rock, and you have Prime Unicron who transforms into a mountain or volcano. It just seems like a match made in heaven to me.
I think it'd be a nice, you know, it's been a pretty big topic since Unicron came out, 2 years ago, that like, how would they do a new Unicron that doesn't disappoint people who bought the HasLab? If you can do that, if you can disappoint people who paid $575 for a figure, I feel like Armada Unicron would be the easy choice, just doing them as like a Titan class. That's a smaller one with more play features and stuff, and honestly that just sounds better than HasLab Unicron, saying it out loud. But they could have just as easily do like Commander class Prime Universe Unicron, and I feel like that would still be a pretty big figure for people who passed on to HasLab.
It would be funny if he turned into a face volcano again.
I would gladly buy it if he turned into a face volcano again. But actually, I guess if there was one Unicron, I'd love to see an update just for the sake of maybe making it an even better figure than how it looks online. I'd love like Voyager class Cybertron universe Unicron based on his toy. That would be pretty cool. Don't know what the chances of it happening are, but like Takara released that Arc Unicron a couple of years after Cybertron, so maybe someone at Hasbro or Takara remembers that toy. I'd hope.
All right.
Well, sorry. One more thing about Thundertron.
Go ahead.
In the actual PulseCon itself, they did address the fact that he has a ship, which was undoubtedly a tease for one of the things we're going to be talking about later on in this stream.
Yeah, someone in the chat is getting way ahead of us regarding that.
Yeah, who's our last figure? One more figure. I mean, maybe two if you count the PulseCon exclusive. I think it's just the last one.
Let's move on to something that I'm sure Runestone will have a lot to talk about. That being our sole new leader class figure of the wave, Tiger Hawk.
Yes, the companion piece to Legacy's Transmetal 2 Megatron. However, I will say I do have my reservations with this one. I mean, the robot mode looks great. I have no initial complaints about it, other than a bit of abundance of brownish mold plastic.
Oh, that yeah. Oh, it's like.
But yeah, and they did use the show accurate purple instead of blue like on the original toy. However, the beast mode, I gotta say, as of now, looks a bit rough to me, because I mean, for one,
look at those real legs.
I don't know if it's just me, but does the head look more like a bear's head to anyone else?
I've heard that sentiment a lot in like the circles I'm in, and I kind of see it. I'm gonna be real. Okay, I own a lot of vintage Beast Wars toys, and Tiger Hawk's never been one I've gotten because like every time I try looking for one prior to this, it's either incomplete or it's just got busted up chrome or what have you, and it's also a pretty pricey figure in the U.S. aftermarket. But I know they were going off of the cartoon design. Way more than the toy, but I do wish they kept the Falcon helmet as like a gimmick, because not only would have made the figure more toyetic, it also probably would have helped the kind of the vibe of that head.
But yeah, like I say, the head looks a bit too much like a bear's head, and is this Hasbro's revenge for us pestering them about Polar Claw for the better part of 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, someone just mentioned Polar Claw in the chat.
The other problem I have is that the rear legs honestly look a bit too scrawny for me. Like
So
I get
tiny.
apparently they were trying to somewhat take the kingdom route and make the bird half look more realistic to that. If well, that's the impression I got. I don't know about anyone else. Yeah, and I think you, Kit, earlier in the stream,
Yeah,
because
the
you were talking
wings.
about
The wings.
you were talking about the waffling with wing blades wings, and now we get to the other victim of that.
Yeah, this one is, in my opinion, far more egregious because the wings are so much bigger and more prominent. But it's just downright ugly. Like, look, it's like little plastic trays. It's like an ashtray.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, and again, it's kind of weird to see again a Voyager like the recently released Skyquake Dreadwing mold that literally goes out of its way in multiple ways. Again, do either of you own the mold, or do both of you have it?
Which mold?
Prime Universe Skyquake or Dreadwing?
Yes, I have Skyquake.
Okay,
I have Skyquake too.
yeah. So you see the figure, and like it is a lighter leader, right? It's a pretty, like, you know, I've seen, I don't know his name. He's the Transformers Star Wars YouTuber with like a clone logo. He does a wide variety of Transformers stuff. I remember watching a YouTube short from this guy of him like weighing different leader classes from like the Siege onwards era, and like Skyquake is pretty light plastic wise, right?
His torso is completely hollow, I think.
Yeah, but like the way he is, but like, you know, he's big. He's like just a smidge shorter than Grimlock if we're talking pure height, right?
Yeah.
The way they do stretch that leader budget to like fill him out, clean him up, like they use like those tiny tail fin wings to fill out the back of his lower legs. They put in basically gaps. They put in gap fillers for the forearms. They put in like the thigh covers.
It's like real life mass shifting.
And again, it's probably a thing where like this Tiger Hawk, I'm gonna assume is like a head taller, you know, because they said specifically, oh yeah, he's gonna go with your Transmetal 2 Megatron, which I love that Transmetal 2 Megatron, by the way.
It's a good toy.
But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Literally, I think two panels, because I can honestly get past the waffling on the guns. We've been dealing with that for years, and I guess it works. But the wings are pretty kind of. I'll be honest, not to riff on the people who worked on it, but it came out pretty nasty. I can't believe I'm saying
poo poo.
Probably I can't believe this. I've gotten to this point. Probably the first time I'm gonna buy a gap filler kit. Hopefully someone that isn't just like a guy that 3D prints stuff and just like sells it like overseas, like makes a good kit like Nana or something.
I didn't know waffling was what everyone called that. I'll have to add that to my vocabulary.
The Chug dictionary. But no, otherwise, also I can kind of agree about the scrawny legs, but like other than that, no, like this guy really does hit all the checkpoints for me. He looks pretty great. And the only thing I do hope we get out of this, I never thought I'd say this, but I hope we get a toy colored version. I don't know if Hasbro or Takara will do it. Maybe I'll do it. But growing up,
would it just be changing the purple for the blue?
No, Runestone, the bronze wasn't really on the original figure, was it?
No, I think there was a lot more white and blue on the original. I should have pulled images for that too. But, oh well. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what though. One, you know what I'm gonna say. One character I'd like to see this redone as redecorated into Razor Claw.
Yes.
Oh,
like,
maybe I did.
This guy is like if they don't do this repaint in like the next year or two, I will be pretty.
I totally forgot we had pictures of the original.
Yeah, so did
here
I.
as well.
But yeah, no, that original is probably because I've never gotten to season 3 of Beast Wars, but like those colors for Tiger Hawk ring in my mind as like his colors. So
I do like that green.
It's true.
It's like
Nickelodeon
slime.
if Razor Claw doesn't happen by like, I don't know, 2025 or something, I'll probably make a custom, and then the week after Hasbro announced the real deal. But yeah, no, I don't. Overall, I have my qualms with him, but like I think he's gonna look pretty satisfying. Like in hand, he looks fun.
I thought you were gonna say he's gonna look pretty sad.
No, look at him. One thing I will say about a lot of these reveals is I'm so happy they're finally putting like expressions back on figures instead of just flat faces, because He's got like that. He's got that very toyetic snarl, and it's like it's the little things that just make these figures feel more alive, you know.
Yeah.
So they're slowly trying to bring them back. Same thing with like alternate heads, but alternate heads still feel like a thing stuck to like retailer and online exclusives. But yeah, otherwise I pre-ordered him. I'm pretty excited to get him eventually. Might have to do some work to really pretty him up, but I like him.
Somehow we managed to speak more about Thundertron than Tigerhawk. Who would have expected that?
There's something else I wanted to say about Tigerhawk. I'm just kind of I'm it's not on my mind right now.
We can come back to it.
If I may, because like I did put out a video, a cheap plug, a while ago, designing my own Transformers line, and
it's not just a plug for you; it's a plug for me. I made half those digibashes. I mean, actually, I made all the digibashes.
Yes, you know which video I'm going to bring up because because Kit very well. Funnily enough, because this toy wasn't revealed yet, Razor Claw wasn't one of them, but. I did bring up the fact that if I don't see a Cryotech and Razor Claw out of Megatron and Tigerhawk respectively, I'd be very surprised.
I was gonna say Cryotech is like one of the biggest holes in Legacy. Like from like the existing pool of molds we have, how have we not gotten?
Yeah, it's one of the most obvious repaints to do because everyone loves Cryotech.
Yeah, that and like it does double duty because it's both a Beast Wars character and if you want, it can also be a Riddle 1 character, so another character going in that franchise, you know. So like,
yeah,
where is it? I will buy it like right away. Like
where Cryotech.
Like, so I hope it pops in somewhere.
Could you imagine like an ice themed subline where Cryotech's the leader and it has like ice themed repaints of all the armorizers?
Maybe some like ice. Maybe that's how we get like Snowcat. Maybe somehow, I don't know. Possibly. I don't want Snowcat as a retool, but like if like he was like a new mold or something that popped in, that line's like Cosmos and Override did last year.
That would be pretty cool. So that's it for actual photographic reveals, but there are some other things that Hasbro revealed that they are making in the pipeline that we would like to talk about, starting with something I don't think any of us really expected, the Commander class reveal, Magmatron.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll say this. He was like in like certain circles I'm in with like people who know people, I guess he was like rumored. Or apparently there was a rumor last year that was talking about like some of the things that ended up being true, like Powerlinks Hotshot, Magmatron, the eventual Dino King, and it's like I refuse to believe it just because like I was like, no one did Magmatron before Big Convoy, but here we are and getting a freaking $90 Magmatron.
I'm surprised they did Magmatron before Galvatron from Beast Wars 2nd.
But like I get no, okay. I have to preface this by saying I'm like absolutely excited. I own the original toy. It's an amazing toy, but like I've always wanted a Magmatron that can like pose like a champ and stuff, and I'm literally it's like a kind of a dream come true figure. And also I now need to go actually buy an Encore Big Convoy to go with him. But like still it's just like I guess there were like a billion other Transformer characters I would have expected as next year's commander before Magmatron, you know?
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.
Yeah, but no, I'm very welcome into it. And according to, JT Prime 17 from TFW, big guy who knows all the listings and stuff, he is going to be a triple changer. He's going to have the Centaur mode and everything. So it's like, he's literally going to hit all the marks. And it's like, oh my. I think every commander's been a hit. Ultra Magnus had to grow on me, but like he looks pretty great in like a lot of the photos videos I've seen, which is like quite the turnaround.
Ultra Magnus is probably gonna be their first miss. I mean, parts of it look cool. I'm still probably gonna get it. As far as commanders go, it's definitely the worst one in my opinion. I still have to get Skylinks, but that's neither here nor there.
I'll say this: Commander class is my favorite size class since I got back into Transformers, because like from Jetfire to Skylinks to even Rodimus to Motormaster to Armada Prime and then even SG Staff or Jetfire, I've bought all of them on release. And I probably will then buy, Mr. Magmatron on release. 86
Did you
Magnus.
Just call him Mr.?
Yes. 86 Magnus is the first one I'm skipping at retail price. I'm gonna wait for a sale because I know he'll go on sale. I'm playing to win it. And it's disappointing because like Ultra Magnus is like one of those great Transformer designs from G1, and You think like he would be an easy sell, but like just skimping on the inner robot. I know that's the point of the figure to not have the inner robot, but like it still takes away the playability of the figure.
I just don't understand why the armor up version was the leader class and the not armor up version ended up in commander class. You'd think the opposite would be better off.
Well, I don't know. Again, it's it's been like a running speculation ever since Power to Primes ended that what we got for Siege was like a tweak, not tweaked literally, but like very inspired by like probably the work they did sketch out for Power to Primes Ultra Magnus if he ended up happening for some reason. Don't know why he was still in that poll, even though he had a toy come out like 2 years before, but whatever. But yeah, no, Magmatron is gonna get me, and I'm so happy to see Beast Wars and Neo stuff pop up because now that's like another whole like load of characters they can do. Like, who's next? Like, can we get Break maybe or Dead End?
I would love Break.
Like,
all I can say is love is here.
Yeah, and like I don't know, and I don't know. The main thing I'm excited from Neo is just getting more dinosaurs because like almost all the Predacons that were brand new molds were dinosaurs. So like now we're gonna get a whole bunch of them.
Crazy Bolt, Guile Dart.
Like Sling, freaking Sling with his flower trap corpse thing. Like, and then again, also the Maximals open up to stuff like I'm here for like a new Colada or like a new Mock Kick, a new Long Rack as a Voyager would be awesome. Don't know. I'm pretty sure a Voyager class giraffe could sell.
And
I think so.
And like we got Tasmania Kid from second, so that opens up more doors for the. We could get freaking Titan class Gigastorm.
Yeah,
if they really wanted to make it.
No, okay, because that's the thing, right? I think Black Zerika and Gadup or Guardian Robot were both pretty killer repaints, but like just in terms of me wanting them, I have no reason to own them, right? But like if I don't think we're getting a Titan class. Next year's gonna be our first year in a while with no Titan class in Gen Selects, I believe. Just going off of listings and like, but if in like 2025 they come back and like bring Tripticon back as Gigastorm, I have to force myself to buy it. Like
I would skip it just because I don't really buy Titan classes, just because they're too expensive for what they do. But
yeah,
it would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I still want Galvatron first, no question. I want a new Galvatron to go Optimus.
This is in response to yellowing reports for Commander Magnus.
I saw it from drinking about robots on like Instagram and TFW. Like I don't know if that's chalked up to like our good old friend non-paintable plastic or not, but like that is a bit miffing to see just how they get it off. But again, I can't say for sure until I get it in hand. Which hopefully I get Magnus by the year's end. But I got a couple other big pre-orders and stuff. I'm waiting on so.
Yeah.
Ultra Magnus honestly is like lower rung of things I need to get for the rest of the year.
Runestone, how about you?
Yeah, I have nothing to add. You're preaching to someone who takes any Beast Wars updates he gets. Like, I don't know what else to add. I mean, I too am hoping, like, if they do big convoy, he probably won't be a commander class, though. He'd probably be a leader.
I'd be okay with that.
I will say, like, when it comes to commander class figures in general, the only one I have thus far is Motor Master. Because what I'm trying to do these days is because the commander class figures, while regardless of the quality and all that, they're not particularly fast sellers, which of course means that they typically go on clearance.
Well,
so
I'd say it was quite the opposite the first couple of years. I don't know about you in the UK, but here in the US, like, Jetfire, he came out, people were like, oh my gosh, this is great, bought him, but then like he did sit around at retail for a while. I got him for $45 Christmas 2019, which is like crazy. But then he disappeared for like a couple of years and he became like super desirable, went for like well over his original MSRP. Same thing happened with Skylinks. Now they've been reissued and they're way easier to get. Rodimus shelf formed pretty hard, which kind of sucks because he is a good figure, but like the way he works as a commander makes sense. Motor Master kind of disappeared like right away. And Armada Prime, I don't even know where you're supposed to get him at this point if you missed out on his first run.
As far as I'm concerned, commanders are just online exclusives to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, which is a shame. They're big ticket items. You think they'd try and stock them in a more healthy manner
I have only ever found Jetfire and Rodimus in person. I haven't seen a single other.
I found Jetfire. Well, I found him at like Walmart and stuff back in the day, but I ordered him again, $45 from Amazon. Why wouldn't I not? I picked up Skylinks at Target. I picked up Rodimus at an online shop. I picked up Motormaster at Target, and then Armada Optimus I have not seen anywhere except one of my local shops. That's it. Which is weird because like you think it's Optimus Prime, put him on store shelves. Every Optimus Prime that's come out this year is like disappeared, like stupid. Buzzworthy SS44 disappeared. Like what is it? What's the other one? SS102 is gone from existence unless you bought him when he was still around. And what Optimus Prime? Oh yeah, and then Armada came out, and like you think they'd die, but no, it was just like really weird.
All right.
I think I was just gonna say, like at this point, I'm also clamoring if they can do combiners like this, I'm just clamoring for a new Magna Boss, one where Silverbolt or Skywalk won't crumble to bloody dust.
I do think this is going to be our first technical commander combiner where it's like an all-in-one thing. I know Motormaster can do the same thing, but like you're expected to buy a $100 worth of other figures to get the proper Menasor, right? Yeah. I hope this does open up to the next commander being some kind of combiner where each thing does transform into its own robot mode. Because I feel like once you do that, the possibilities can go quite crazy. Like.
So there's only one other technical reveal to talk about, and you had to have a sharp eye to really see it, or just not be a complete idiot like me because I missed it on the poster. Take a look at who's up on the top right of that poster. It is none other than Micron Legends Shock Wave, otherwise known as Tidal Wave.
Now I gotta say,
Titan class Tidal Wave.
Before getting into the possibilities of the figure itself, it is weird because like last year for Evolution, Nemesis was like right front and center on the package. This year he's just hanging out on the top right, and of course implications he's tall because Tidal Wave's tall, right? But still, it's just funny he's kind of off to the side. Well, Magnetron's face first, which don't get me wrong, it's cool. Magnetron's face first, but like you think they would have put more focus on like
more interesting.
Oh, well, I think both of them are equally interesting. They both literally do the same thing of like being three things that turn into one big thing. So.
This is true.
But to be fair, though, Magmatron has a lot more visual flair in his design with those. I can't remember the dinosaurs.
Gigantus. I think it's
they're just called Landsaur, Seasaur, Skysaur.
Yeah.
Okay, for the sake of like the Skysaurus with the wings acting as horns of sorts, I think that adds a lot of visual flair to Magmatron.
Yeah. I guess this is just more in talks of like recognizability because like Magmatron came out here in the US for Beast Machines, which also made me realize Magmatron's gonna be pulling double duty since he can be used as both the Neo character and the Beast Machines character, so which is cool. Means we're technically getting more than one Beast Machines character for United. But I just feel like they but like you think they would have had Tidal Wave.
Oh yeah, we're getting a core class Cheetor, aren't we?
Yes, we're gonna be seeing it hopefully in a couple months during the next big reveal cycle.
Let's get some fucking Viacons.
Gosh, man.
Last charge, please.
But yeah, no, how do you guys feel about the prospect of cartoon accurate Tidal Wave for a reasonable price of $200?
This might be the first Titan class figure I get in years.
This might be, if they execute it well, this might be the first $200 Titan. I'm like, okay, I'll dump $200 on this.
Yeah.
This might be the first Titan class figure I get, period.
My parents got me Metroplex and Fortress Maximus way back when Titan classes were actually reasonably priced. And I ended up selling them on when I was in college. Just because they were too big and they didn't really do a whole lot that I was interested in.
I do plan on getting Metroplex probably for Christmas, like Cybertron Metroplex, but I was
talking about War for Cybertron.
Once they hit that, like they went okay. Because here's the thing, right? We went from like Titan's Return, we got like them for 150. Then I believe Siege and Earthrise bumped them up to 160. Arc was 170, and then it hit a $30 increase. That's like what? That's like almost a 20% increase from like the last MSRP, right? So like, and don't get me wrong, Metroplex looks great. Nemesis looks fun enough, but like $200 with no minifigures, no real like gimmicks per se, you're getting like, I'm not gonna lie, that's the size class where you're seeing like the most diminishing returns as time goes on. Because core Voyager Deluxe Leader, They all, I mean, they have their own levels of diminishing returns, but you still get basically what you've been getting since War for Cybertron started in
Yeah.
2018. Titan class, like, I don't want to be like, I hope this doesn't come off at hyperbolic, but I really think we peaked with like Omega Supreme and who's the other one? Scorponok.
Yeah, Titans Siege Omega Supreme is the only Titan class figure that I truly feel I missed out on.
He's great. I'd say if you have the space and stuff, I'd say get Gata or Guardian Robot because he looks utterly fantastic. Just I don't have the space for it.
Yeah, but he's like $50 more than his Omega Supreme.
Yeah,
was.
no, but like I'm saying that because like Power Day sale, it was like Power Day sale back in July. It was like a couple months after he came out, he was already on the sale. You could get him for like 130. So I'd say keep an eye out on sales and stuff. He might.
I'll definitely consider it. Get Up is a very nice color scheme.
Yes, plus he comes with an OC character. It's just a countdown repaint, but like new decos for characters are very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
I might Get Up.
I feel like I shouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised they're going with cartoon colors on Tidal Wave. If the artist to be believed, like wow.
I kind of expected cartoon colors over anything else, just because everything else and their modus operandi right now is tuning. So why not?
Well, I mean, just like those colors, the like the peaish green, like by pea I mean the vegetable, not urine, but like the peaish green, that like lighter purple, the grays. It feels just as iconic because like that was what we got. That's what the PS2 game had. Like I genuinely see it happening in Generation Selects, and I feel like it will do pretty well if it comes out there.
You know what I would love to see in Generation Selects?
Energon.
That lightning bolt color scheme. I love it. That's the version of the original I got.
That's the only place it can really come out in, right? They can't do something like that at retail, obviously. But but yeah, I'm so into like the anime cartoon color scheme that I'm down for it. Two things though, I hope he has Ramjet this time.
Yeah,
he won't.
Like he won't. No, I'm really.
He'll come with the toy color version.
No,
and it'll be $20 more expensive.
Oh my gosh. Stop saying these things that could hypothetically be true, man. But
that's what they did for Hot Shot.
And then the other thing is, have you guys heard of the apparent combination method this guy will have with Legacy Megatron?
Yes, it is on the poster. If you look right by his shoulder, there's Megatron combined with Tidal Wave.
Again, according to JT Prime, in the same post/breath, he said that Magmatron will still have all of his triple changing features. Apparently, the way they're going to be doing Tidal Wave, it's all speculation, is that parts of him will come off that resemble his bigger ships or his ship forms, right? And those are what attaches onto Megatron to become I forgot his super mode name, but it doesn't
matter.
And I'm kind of conflicted because on one hand, it's like it would have been cool if Tidal Wave somehow combined with it, but at the other time, I have to realize they're doing him as a Titan class, and as long as those facsimile parts are like well painted enough and well sculpted enough, I wouldn't mind it because that means you can display Tidal Wave while also having Megatron with his armor or the Tidal Wave armor stuff, and I feel like that's a fair compromise. It's like the closest they could do. And like the one nice thing about the situation with Transformers we're at right now is if you really want a Tidal Wave that's gonna be all built in and can combine with its Megatron, Fans Hobby is literally coming out next year too. So like you're set if that's like the kind of Megatron and Tidal Wave combination you want.
Counterpoint: the Fans Hobby aesthetic sucks.
It's something. I think I prefer. It's a case where I do prefer Hasbro's aesthetic. It's way more in line with. It's way more in line with the Armada toys, and like I think that is aesthetically Megatron from Hasbro.
Are you live streaming from the road? That's dangerous.
No.
Pay attention to the road.
I think aesthetically, not execution wise, in some cases, like Hasbro's been doing a better job for me personally with how Armada figures been coming out. So I think Tidal Wave will also hit the same note.
Runestone, I believe we quite rudely interrupted you earlier. What were you going to say?
Well, I actually could. It's a couple things. I mean, firstly, considering that they did toy-accurate color schemes for Beast Wars, Dinobot, and Pterosaur for Buzzworthy Bumblebee, it wouldn't surprise me. if they did the same for Tidal Wave. Not necessarily in that line, but in selects. The other thing is that I've never owned the original Tidal Wave figure, but I am fully aware of how highly regarded it's, how highly regarded it is. And I just wondered, other than the size, how else they could top that one.
I got
That's
the
fair.
Energon version for $90.
Oh man! Oh yeah, you did that not too long ago. Like not too long ago, enough that I remember when you made the purchase. And also,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm surprised that's like a figure you've never. Is it a case where you've never owned it, or just a case where you've never even handled it?
I've never even had. I mean, I think I may have seen it at like one of the TF Nation conventions, but I don't know. I just never really had the urge to buy it. I might one day, because obviously I'm I'm a bit of a Beast Wars nut. So
Yeah, I will say
Speaking of
this new
handling,
tidal wave-
oh, never mind.
if this new tidal wave turns out to be utterly fantastic, which again, Titan Class, I have hopes for the price it is that they do turn out fantastic. If it does turn out fantastic, I will probably jump on an original Hasbro one just to have that color scheme in my collection. Because again, I think it's quite iconic, you know. But yeah, you were saying, Kit?
I was just gonna digress and say, speaking of handling very big Transformers, I once got to hold the RID-01, was it Brave Maximus
Ooh,
at a convention once. It was incomplete, but it was big, it was heavy, it was prestige.
You know, on the topic, it's pretty new news. It did cause a bit of a stir. I guess I want to ask you guys. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What did you guys think about the whole spiel, or like the whole thing surrounding the re-release of Titans Return Fortress Maximus? Because I feel like that's something to talk about.
I mean, I think it's a good idea. I kind of like that Hasbro are just reissuing odd figures that
Oh yeah,
that are just a few years old for
they're
people
doing
to
it
buy
with
again.
they're doing it with 86 Slug, and like that's very much welcome because like
Yeah, Slug was. I know Slug was not that easy to find for some people. It shelf warmed around me.
Yeah, but like no, it's like the situation I mentioned with like Skylinks and Jetfire, where like once they were gone for like years.
Yeah.
So this is very welcome. I hope we see the same for Grimlock. Not because I need him, but I don't need him. But like just for
Grimlock's like 3 years old now, and they haven't even finished the Dinobots yet. So it'll probably be pretty pertinent for them to reissue Grimlock at some point.
I don't really know what way they could spin doing another new cast of G1 Dino, but like this is it for me personally. I don't plan on doing it all. Like the only exception is like if they is like something fun like the core Dinobots, or like if they decide to put like a deluxe class Pretender Grimlock out there or something like that. Otherwise, I'm happy, and I'm more than happy enough with what we got in '86. So like it's just that thing where it's like a lot of these G1 characters feel one and done at this point. So like yeah, there's no reason. Like it's better to just like. This is a thing I've talked about with a lot of fans who are kind of bothered with how much G1 characters seem to come in and out. Like Ironhide and Ratchet, for example, we've gotten how many of them in like the past 5 years? Where it's like it's to keep fans from burning out. It's probably better to just reissue these things as is, or repacking them like something like. Well, Dirge is a special case. That guy was stupid rare, you know.
Yeah, well, like they still have to do Ramjet and Thrust.
Mm-hmm. It's still better to just do stuff like. I personally feel like it's better to just re-releases like that. Maybe with some extra paint. Like, for example, that Dirge one, I won't lie, because the wings are molded in that orangish color, it's better than the Earthrise one who had them just painted. I think it's better to do that than just, like, pump out a version of that character every 2 to 3 years just to keep it on shelves. Like, because I'll be real, I did get Dead Ironhide and Prowl the other day, right? My first time messing with 86 Ironhide. Not a bad mold.
I've seen your pictures of them.
Yeah, not a bad mold, surprisingly. It's just more like a case where it's like, did we really need to put out another Ironhide or Ratchet this soon after Earthrise? Like,
yeah,
especially in Studio Series when there's like plenty of Bay characters to do. But like that again, that's a topic for like another stream possibly.
I myself am very, very supportive of the whole package refresh practice that they've been going on. But I have to admit that some of the choices they've made for which figures get re-release is really freaking weird. Like, remember when they Of course, the most pertinent example right now would be Laser Optimus. Like, did they really need to re-release Laser
No,
Optimus right now when freaking hardly anyone could find Skyquake or I don't even know if Dreadwing's out yet.
Dreadwing's not. I think Dreadwing's like you can pick them up on like Amazon and stuff, Big Bad, but and also at right now I believe not I believe I've seen plenty of photographic evidence. Like people are finding Wave 4 Deluxes and Voyagers at Targets right now, so he'll be out. I hope he'd be out pretty soon before Tiger Hawk and the Laser Optimus.
I've seen Dreadwing in stores.
Ooh, yeah, I do really. He looks really good compared to Skyquake. I think Skyquake looks nice in person, but like Dreadwing looks really nice.
Yeah, but like, and like that Siege Soundwave reissue for Legacy was just really weird as well. But on the whole, I think package refreshes are a pretty good idea that I hope to see continue in the future because, on the one hand, it gives fans another chance to get figures they missed the first time around. And on the other hand, more selfishly, for every package refresh they add to the line, that's one less figure I have to buy.
I mean, in regards to my thoughts on Fortress Maximus being reissued, the Titan's Return one, I mean, like you say, it's good for those who want it, but I understand that it's not the most popular, given that it's just, albeit a heavily retooled version of Metroplex, and I think a lot of people are just clamoring for that to be what seems to be an ongoing trend on Twitter, the next HasLab project.
Ooh. Hot take, Star Saber was not that good.
Wasn't there a lot of quality control issues with that one?
Yeah, but I didn't really suffer from any of those. I just don't like Star Saber that much. He just feels kind of crappy, and like he does a lot. He has a lot of gimmicks. It's really nice. The chrome is nice. Saber himself is pretty cool, but you know the V-Star feels like crap, and Victory Leo's okay, and really it's just the V-Star that pisses me off because it ruins the play pattern for everything else.
I will say, okay, I'll preface this by saying my judgment is very much clouded by how much I enjoyed growing up with some Robot Masters knockoffs of Star Saber and Victory Leo. That's my exposure to JG1. It was just having some knockoffs of Star Saber, Victory Leo, and the Press Force. For some reason, those were things that like KO companies would KO and put in like big lots and stuff, right?
Yeah. So I remember getting a KO G1 Superion for Easter once.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it was Superion when I got it, and I really wish I had kept it.
But I will say, it's a thing I've talked about a lot with friends who are very as invested in the toy line as me. I personally still really enjoy the set, but I won't lie when I say there's like a couple of things that do make me like raise my eyebrow, such as like the arbitrarily limited shoulders on the V-Star or like 4-Star Saber himself, right?
Yeah.
How scary it can be playing with the Brain of Courage, because I'll tell you, I was fiddling with him. I was fiddling with my Star Saber a couple weeks back, and genuinely, when I had Brain of Courage, or you know, little Saber in his robot mode, right?
Saberino.
Yeah, right. The faceplate, or like the face got stuck, and I was sweating like crazy because like I thought it was gonna snap, and I was gonna have to like call Hasbro. Hope to God they have the face, but no, it was fine. But like, it did make me wonder, why mold that in clear plastic? It's like, overall, I like the figure, but there are questions that made me go, huh, that could have been done a little bit easier for like the sake of a overall better presentation. And I think most people honestly agree. I know most of the people I know that got Victory Saber love him a lot, right? But like, there were some really noticeable nitpicks and even issues straight up, right? And I think Hasbro genuinely cared enough to like, or like the team cared enough to like take that criticism to mind, because Deathsaurus straight up looks like perfect. At least from photos. He comes out in like a couple months for us, but like I got no qualms like seeing him right now compared to like Victory Saber and to the Victory Saber set. Yeah. Which makes me wonder what 2024's HasLab is going to be. We're not going to see it this year. They said it. All they said is, you know, expect something Omega level in 2024, and there's only a couple of things I could imagine being Omega level if they're like bluntly stating it has the term Omega in it, or the word Omega.
Yeah, it's either Primus or Omega Supreme.
There is one other that I've seen some people say, and I refuse to believe it because, in my opinion, it would be really stupid to put out as a HasLab.
Tell us.
Omega Prime, if they I doubt it's going to happen in the first
Oh
one
no!
of Optimus Prime, but like if they do it as a HasLab, I think that would genuinely piss people off. But beyond like I don't even want to imagine how pissed off people would be about it.
I would rather they just release 2 commanders.
Yeah, no, I would wait 2 years to get 2. Well, I mean, I'd still keep my originals. The originals are top Transformer toys of all time, right? But like
that goes without saying.
Yeah, no, but like to have like postable versions of them would be pretty great, and like to lock them behind a HasLab would be like one of the stupidest things ever to do. I feel like I'm definitely being a little bit hyperbolic because again, I'm pretty sure they've gone on record saying no Optimus Primes, and I'm sure that extends to Optimus Primes that don't explicitly look like G1 Optimus Prime. I hope, you know. So I'm expecting. I feel like it's a freeway tie between Energon Omega Supreme, animated Omega Supreme, or Cybertron Primus with the Omega Lock. But one other thing I did think about, I've thought about a little bit, is that this could be Hasbro's first studio series HasLab, and that could be Gamer Edition Omega Supreme.
Ooh,
that's definitely a viable one.
That would be interesting.
I'm sure something like it could fund.
Yeah, because I don't see them releasing that as a Titan, so maybe
so like
HasLab would be a better route for something as niche as that.
Plus, I feel like Planet X came out so long ago that they don't have to worry about competing with it. Yeah. And plus, it is a niche third-party figure, so like it's not like all of us have it or something, But I am interested. I feel like other than Unicron, I have enjoyed what we've gotten from HasLab for Transformers so far, so I do hope that streak continues.
All right. So I think that about wraps things up, but I would like to take a few minutes just to open things up to the chat. They can, y'all in the chat can just ask us a few questions before we go. We could talk about anything you want. Anything. Just got to give it. We only have 5 people in the chat.
I guess while we wait, what did you both think about it's tangential to PulseCon, the Hotshot and Jolt pack?
I want it, but
yeah, I'm very miffed about the price though. Like,
yeah, it's too much.
Not in a like, oh, I can't afford this. Like, I could absolutely afford it. It's just like it's kind of ludicrous to ask for another $20 for what is admittedly a pretty nice mini-con, 2 guns, and a couple of blast effects I own already in a billion different colors. So, like, I'll wait for a sale. I'm just going to wait.
Okay, our first question comes from Quattro Bagina asking, can we have an intervention for ID Arm's crippling chug addiction?
No. It's part of my, it's one of my quirks. It's part of my personality,
The chug has become part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Runestone, you've been on something of an Armada kick these past couple of years. What's your thoughts on Powerlink's Hotshot?
I think I'm no different from IDON, really. I probably just wait for that particular Hotshot on sale. I do have the original Legacy Evolution Hotshot. It's okay. I mean, a bit rough to handle, but undoubtedly the best looking version of the character thus far.
That's debatable, at least in alt mode, I'd say. I don't know. I think the 2008 version has the best alt mode.
I still think the original has the best alt mode.
Well, yeah, the alt mode is, was the saving grace of the original Hotshot toy for me, but yeah, the robot mode on the Legacy version looks the best to me.
Yeah,
you think we'll ever get Select Scion in Cop Tour?
I would be down for it, honestly. Like, because I can't lie when I say that I don't really have any interest in the Horde on 2-pack. Because
I'm not like shit.
Yeah. I mean, no, I can't even see myself buying it during the next big Pulse sale. If I can get it for 35% off, I'd still pass on it. It's just, I guess, I've over the summer, I had this kind of revelation where I'm like, why do I need to buy RC for like the 5th time and Cup for like the 4th time or whatever? It's just at some point I'd rather make my own customs of them that feel more unique personally.
Yeah.
Plus, Ariel had like a pretty gross hat. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys.
That's sort of how I feel about that Rat-Bat and Megatron 2-pack that I tried buying and got freaking Siege Seeker mold again. I'm just like, do I really need another version of either of these molds? And the answer is no.
Yeah, no.
I'm selling off. I'm selling off Shockwave, but I'm keeping that Orion Pax because I like it.
Believe it or not, despite how often the Siege Seeker mold has been reused, I haven't got a version. I hadn't had a version of it until I got Nacelle of all characters.
Did yours' wings have the not mold stuff on it?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check up on that one. But I mean, I was a bit disappointed that Nacelle was just, it used the Siege Seeker mold and not the Earthrise Thrust one, because Thrust was already a bugger to get a hold of, and Nacelle with the standard Seeker head, but combined with Thrust wings, that's what makes him unique. And
well, I was talking about this last night.
They've been pumping out Ramjet repaints like nobody's business.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I don't know. That was like one of the biggest disappointments with Transformers I had this year. Is just like I wanted Nacelle to be like basically the OSKO'd version of his Timelines toy, and like no, he just got a Siege Seeker instead, which I get is comic accurate to IDW 2019. But, like that just means he's another Siege Seeker, so it was like easy pass, but also a very disappointing pass.
Yeah. All right, we actually have a question from Walter Lopez. What are some collabs you'd like to see Hasbro do in the future, ignoring the rumors and listings we already have? I am not privy to any of those rumors and listings, so
I'm honestly surprisingly not either. I think the only one is probably some. We got more Joes coming. I don't know if I know any exacts, but like I'm not into Joe until like I wasn't into Joe like that until like Friday when I saw some of those new classified figures, and I was like, oh, okay, now you got me interested. But I guess for me personally, I'd like to see some of the vehicles from Masters of the Universe get transforming figures. I think that'd be pretty great if we got like the Road Ripper as a deluxe class sized figure, maybe like the Attack Track and Battle Ram, all those wacky vehicles would be great. But that requires Hasbro to work with Mattel, and I don't know how often that happens since they're like the two companies that basically are brawling in the toy aisle, and then Lego's just obviously dominating both.
Speaking of collabs with Mattel, I would just love to see them do a Hot Wheels crossover.
Oh yeah,
just pick Twin Mill, Diora 2, or Diora 1. I would love a Slingshot Transformer. That's my favorite Hot Wheels casting, just because of its involvement in Highway 35. But that's neither here nor there, and I don't think Hasbro would want anything to do with Highway 35. Of course, they probably do a Bone Shaker, and I just don't give a shit about the Bone Shaker. It's like the most overrated Hot Wheels casting ever, I think.
Kind of on about on the same level. I don't know if this is like the obvious pick. I would love to see Hasbro just do more collabs with car companies, like VNR Prime from this year and technically Holiday from like. Genuinely, like that this Prime feels so fresh. Like the more I see them, the more I want them, And yeah, I really wouldn't mind if like they just put out more Transformers, like more established Transformer characters that are based on their quote unquote like modern vehicle counterparts.
I've seen Lego do this recently with both Mercedes and McLaren, but I would love for Hasbro to have an official collaboration with a Formula One team.
Oh yeah, that one. I feel like there wouldn't be like any pre-existing toy brand that works with F1 to like.
No, it's just Lego.
Yeah,
they did the Speed Champions Mercedes W12, which I have two of, one for Lewis Hamilton and the other for Valtteri Bottas, and they had the Lego Technic McLaren MCL whatever the fuck from last year, but I never got that.
So yeah, no, I would again, I'm not like enough of a car buff to like tell you, oh, this vehicle would be perfect for this 1984 Autobot, but like, no, just if they kept pumping out stuff like that, I'd be so down. But
just get Mirage to turn into an Alpine.
Yeah, I just feel like it's
blue.
The likeliness of it is low because VNR Prime was supposed to be a completely different thing,
Amazon Prime,
which. I'm glad that didn't happen personally. It just feels a little too corporate for my liking, for my robot toy brand. So, like, I passed that. Or, like, I'm very glad it didn't happen is what I mean to say, because it never came out. Which is weird that it never came out. I don't know why it didn't, but, like, I'm more happier with the decos we ended up getting.
All right, Runestone, what's your answer to this? We'll round out the live stream.
Collabs. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any major attachments to the collabs. But I'm honestly surprised that they haven't revisited the Star Wars Transformers concept again with these crossovers. Because obviously I had and reviewed some of the original figures. I don't know about you guys, whether you had any experience with any of them. Wait, Kit, don't you have that Luke Snowspeeder figure?
Yes, I do. And I have the Obi-Wan Revenge of the Sith Starfighter, and I have a Clone Gunner tank. Those are my only crossover figures.
Yeah, and I've never owned any, so
I can see them from here. Let me just turn on my webcam for a second. There they are, down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Jeez, they're huge. Oh my gosh. I don't know if they're huge or just your shelf is small, but
yeah, it's a bit of both. But yeah, I think that'll about wrap things up for this live stream. We're just about hitting the 2-hour mark here, and I wanted that to be our hard limit. So what were y'all's thoughts on this? I think this went pretty well. It was pretty fun.
Oh no, absolutely. It was very chill to just, I don't know, speak my mind on toys. Not even just about like recent stuff, just like the things surrounding the toy line recently.
Yeah, we got to do this again.
Yeah, no, and again, it's probably pretty soon since, you know, our favorite marketing man, BMAC, has implied that there will be a whole Wave 1 reveal for Studio Series next month. So, like, coming up very soon, we'll probably be doing this again, talking about all those wonderful figures. I mean, one of them already leaked, but I guess we should probably save it for next time.
Wait, which one?
86 Scrap Heap leaked. No one cared.
Oh, I thought that was an official reveal.
No, it leaked from like some guy on eBay who's selling like that. But like, I don't. It's another junk. Yeah, we can save it for next month.
Yeah, who cares about the Junkions?
I don't care about the legacy ones. Yeah, I guess this is a good point to wrap it up. So.
All right. So once again, this has been Kit Catastrophe, joined by Runestone and ID Armed.
Mm-hmm. Right,
this was a great pleasure.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who tuned in. It feels good to be back on YouTube in some form. Like absolutely. So I can't wait to do this more.
All right. So anyone want to sign off?
Thank you. Take care until all are one.
I'll see you guys next time. And check out my customs, I guess. Got to plug myself.
This has been Kit Catastrophe. Transform and roll out.
Yes.